Ferris State wins the Anchor Bone Classic in an absolutely electric game and absolutely electric atmosphere, 38-31, in a game between obviously two very, very talented teams, and you truly saw that from the get-go. And you have to give credit to GVSU because Ferris State got out to a really fast start offensively, and it truly starts with a guy in Taariik Brett. He was absolutely fantastic in this game, not only catching the ball but running the ball as well. Had 4 touchdowns in the first half. 2 of those were runs, 2 of those were passes, but once you go up 14-0 against this Ferris State offense, it's obviously really pretty difficult to come back on for most teams, but not this GVSU team. This GVSU team responded, and it really led by Andrew Schuster. Had a huge 49-yard touchdown pass to tight end Evan Fortney, and also another touchdown pass to Kellen Reed. After GVSU was able to tie this game back up, Ferris State got a little bit of momentum going with that. And you had a touchdown run by Taariik Brett, and then a late last-second field goal to go into halftime from GVSU, from Matthew Bekek. Sorry if I completely botched your name, but this was a absolutely electric first half offensively, 28-24. That offense doesn't really continue in the second half. It's a lot of the defenses that truly made plays in the second half. Ferris State forced 1 turnover in this game from Andrew Schuster. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and then a late touchdown in the fourth quarter from Wyatt Bauer. Again, I've talked a lot about Wyatt Bauer, how good he has been this year. Basically clinched it for Ferris State. Now, GVSU did get themselves back into this game with a Lynn Wetchy-El, a 19-yard touchdown catch from Andrew Schuster, but obviously it was a little bit too late for GVSU in this game. But an absolutely electric, a game that was just 2 really, really good teams swinging at each other, throwing punches. And if you look at just overall, obviously Ferris State ended up winning this game by 7, but this was a game that was extremely high level. This was a game that no team was truly that much out of it, and even when it looked like it was, every team responded. And it was just a different way of doing it because you have Ferris State that really wanted to settle things down and run the ball. And if you look at just the amount of yards that they ran the ball for, they were able to outrun GVSU by quite a lot, almost 140 yards on the ground. Now, if you look at time of possession, this is honestly maybe where GVSU, I thought, had a pretty good game plan. Was time of possession was GVSU 33 minutes, 49 seconds to Ferris State's 26 minutes. When you're going up against a team like Ferris State, you have to keep the possession to yourself. If you're going to do that, though, you have to be able to put up points when you need to. And there are several points in GV's offense when they were able to do it. Now, obviously, once you go up 2 scores at the end of the game, you need a quick score. GVSU was able to obviously get that in this game. But it's almost to the point where I thought that GVSU performed too well to their game plan, that they wanted to keep Ferris State's offense off the field, that like towards the end of the game, it actually hurt them a little bit. And it's because of just wanting to kind of be monotonous a little bit. And even when they were doing that, it was still heavily through the air. It was 358 yards through the air to 104 yards on the ground. So it's not even like it was big play after big play after big play through the air. It was just doing the right little things and picking up a couple yards here, a couple yards there, just continuing to go down the field. And it's not like GVSU didn't have any big plays. They had a 27-yard pass. They had a 49-yard pass. They had a 19-yard pass, all for touchdowns. They did have big plays, but if you look at just the overall drives that GVSU had, one was 5 minutes and 45 seconds, one was 4 minutes, one was 3 minutes, compared to what Ferris State had, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute. Ferris State did have a 5-minute drive, which almost basically put this game away. So you do have to give a ton of credit to Ferris State for that 5-minute drive, a 12-play, 79 yards that ended up clinching the game with a Wyatt Bauer 10-yard touchdown run. Ferris State needed to have a drive like that, and they were able to convert on that opportunity, and that's another big reason why they won. But this was a game that GVSU actually outgained Ferris State. GVSU had 462 yards of offense compared to 433. GVSU was 62% from third down. Ferris was 50%. First downs, GV had more. Ferris had less. If you look at just the overall total offensive plays, GV had 10 more offensive plays compared to Ferris State. This is just two different types of game plans. GV wanted to throw the ball and wanted to keep the game close, and they were able to do that. And again, you have to give full-on credit to them. Ferris was just a little bit too good. And I do think Ferris had some points where they probably could have took a little bit more advantage of opportunities. There was one lost fumble from GVSU. There was one interception. There wasn't a ton of sacks. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It matters about getting the win. Ferris State did enough to be able to get the win and got an absolutely ginormous win against a GVSU team that, coming off of a tough loss against SVSU the week prior, they needed a good response this week. And they absolutely got it. Unfortunately, it ended up falling short. This was a game that I thought would be a little bit closer. I believe it was like 7 to 10 points is what I thought it was going to end up being. This is the kind of the game these rivalry games happen. Is they're going to be really close. They're going to be really competitive. They're going to be with two great teams. They're two coaching staffs that very much, I would guess, realize how good they are. And just so much talent, and Ferris State just won. And the better team, in my opinion, won this game. I think GVSU is very, very talented. I think this GVSU team, if they do get in the playoffs, could be one that would be one to watch out for. Do I think, as of this point, they do? Not necessarily. I think they're going to need help. I do think 3 losses is going to be really difficult to get in, but you never necessarily know. You can say, hey, we just competed against the number 1 team in the country. Hey, this was probably the hardest game Ferris has had all year besides Tiffin. Ferris got absolutely tested in this game. Ferris responded. Ferris had guys that made plays, like I talked about Taariik Brett, like I talked about Wyatt Bauer. There's individuals that end up making plays, and because of that, Ferris ended up getting out of this with a win, defending home field in an Anchor Bone Classic. That was truly a classic. But yeah, if you enjoyed this recap, definitely make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Great game by Taariik Brett. Absolutely deserves the player of the game. 10 rushes for 89 yards, and then he also had 5 receptions for 76 yards, 2 touchdowns there, 4 total touchdowns. So absolutely deserves player of the game. But there's other key contributors like Carson Gulker. There's also guys like Brady Rose. There's a lot of guys that really, truly stepped up for this Ferris State team, and it's a lot of the same kind of guys, but that's what you need in these big games. But yeah, if you enjoyed this recap, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. I'll obviously talk more about Ferris State as the year goes on, talk more about GVSU as well. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed the game. Great electric game, great electric atmosphere, and we'll do this all over again next year.